Okay, let's go ahead and do some of those examples now. So let's say the first one that I want to name is KBr. So the very first thing I need to do is to name my cation, my positive ion. Remember, in ionic naming or formula writing, that positively charged ion always comes first. So I know that's going to be my K here. And the first question is it a single element? Okay, it's just my K, so yes, one thing. Then my next question is it a pattern metal? Meaning, is it in group 1, 2, or 13? So I'm going to look at my periodic table. K is right here in group 1. So yes, it is a pattern metal. So I'm going to write the metal name. So we got potassium. Now my next step is to name the anion. So the first question and only question is it a single element? Br is a single element, so yes. So I need to use my root word plus IDE. So this is going to be bromide. That was the simplest naming type that we did when we talked about binary ionic naming. Remember, binary meaning 2. Let's talk about our next example. Let's say I have SCOH3. So my first question is my cation a single element? It's just CS, so yes it is. Is it a pattern metal? So I need to look at my periodic table and find SC. SC is right here. That is in group 3, so it is not a pattern metal. So I'm going to go with no. Now I need to check and see if it's an exception. So zinc, silver, cadmium, or scandium, yes. Write the name of the metal. Then I'm going to go ahead and name my anion. So first question with my anion is it a single element? OH, that's 2 capital letters, so that is a compound. So I need to say, okay, I need to look at the back of my periodic table. But wait, this is OH, and we wrote that exception on there. That is one you have to know. So that is hydroxide. We still haven't had to show any work because we haven't had to calculate a charge yet. Even though this wasn't a pattern metal, because it was an exception, we do not have to use our Roman numerals there. Let's take a look at our next example here. SR3N2. Now this one has subscripts for both numbers, so let's see if that affects anything. First question for my cation is it a single element? So we're talking about just SR here, so yes it is. My next question is it a pattern metal? So I'm going to find SR on my periodic table. It's in group 2, so yes it is a pattern metal. So I'm just going to write the metal name. So SR is strontium. Now I'm ready to name my anion. First and only question, is it a single element? So this is just N. So yes, it is a single element. So I need my root word plus IDE. Which is going to be nitride. Both of these, the first one and this third one, are binary ionic. But a few people, it throws them off when we have those 2 subscripts. Don't let that distract you. Okay, we're focusing on if it's a pattern metal or not, and then if it's a single element or not. So make sure you're following that flow chart. Let's check out another one here. Fe2SO4 3. So the very first question we're looking at is it a single element? So my cation, my positively charged ion, is just a V. So yes, it is a single element. So then my next question is it a pattern metal? So I'm going to look at my periodic table, and V is right here in group 5. So since V is in group 5, we know that it's a non-pattern metal. So I'm going to say no. And my next question is it one of those 4 exceptions? Again, my answer is no. So we need to write the name and calculate its charge. So I'm going to go ahead and write vanadium. And now let's look at calculating the charge there. So I'm going to look at how many metal ions I have, which is 2. I'm going to put 2 down. X, because I don't know the metal's charge yet, plus how many non-metals I have. Remember, when we're talking polyatomics, the how many is the number outside of our parentheses. So I have 3 of those here. And then SO4, if we look at the back of our periodic table, SO4 has a -2 charge. Because this overall is neutral, I'm going to have this set equal to 0. So I have 2x plus -6 equals 0. So 2x equals 6. So x equals 3. So in parentheses, I'm going to put a Roman numeral 3 to tell me that charge. And then I'm ready to move on to my next step of naming the anion. So this question again is it a single element? Well, it's SO4. So no, it's not a single element, it's a polyatomic. So we need to write the name from the back of the periodic table. SO4 is sulfate. Okay. So vanadium 3 sulfate. Let's check out one more example on here. Let's say I have NH4F. So again, I'm going to name my cation first, and the question is it a single element? It's NH4. I have 2 capital letters, so that is a compound. It's not a single element, or in this case, it's actually a polyatomic ion, but it's not a singular element. And our only option for us, if it's not a singular element, is that this is ammonium. So I'm going to go ahead and write that for my cation. And I'm going to slide on down here to naming the anion. So the anion here is just an F. So is that a single element? Yes, it is. So we're going to do our root word plus IDE. So we're going to do fluoride. Check that out. Check out using this as a whole. See what questions you have. If you think we need to add something to it, let me know. But that's kind of a general breakdown of how we put all of that we have learned in ionic naming together.